Hi, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, host of No More Water Fire Next Time. We're back with you again, coming live from East St. Louis, Illinois. We are in East St. Louis, we're on the eve of a very important election. We're electing a mayor, city council, school board members, and many others, but those are the top ones. Um, we're going to, I have with me in studio today um, Marie Franklin, candidate for mayor of East St. Louis, Illinois. Lorenzo Savage, candidate for city council. And Paris Grimmett, candidate for city council. And I want to welcome you all here.
Thank you.
Glad you
Thank you,
came.
Thank you.
Okay. Um, First, let's start with Marie. She's going for the top job.
Yes.
Yes. So tell us, what made you decide to run for mayor?
I've lived here all my life and I have seen the steady decline in this city. I live on Lincoln Avenue and we moved in that neighborhood in 71. And then I bought a house 2 doors down from my mother. But when we moved in that neighborhood, we had everything we needed right in the neighborhood. We had two grocery stores, we had a dentist, we had a pharmacist, we had a Sonic. Just we didn't have to go out of the neighborhood if we didn't want to. And now there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And I blame the leadership. They have let this city decline. There are others who could have done something about it. And I have said this before that someone would have stepped in, the county, the state, the federal government, if this city had been full of white people. But since it's just us, they just let it continue to decline, said nothing, and did nothing. So I decided that I was going to do something. So I began preparing myself for this. The first thought of this came to my mind 10 years ago. And I began preparing myself for this. The Lord put opportunities right in my way. I couldn't help but do them. The Sue Shear Institute at UMSA for women who run for office. I completed that program. The We Power Power Builder program, the Chisholm's Chair program for women who are running for office. I mean, they were just right there. The Just Leadership program, Emerging Leaders with Just Leadership program. I completed that. All of that in preparation for running for office. I am an community organizer by trade. So I was trained Gamaliel style, which is the same organization that trained President Obama when he was an organizer. And so everything that I have done the last 10 years has brought me here. The thing that made me pull the trigger was this. When COVID first broke and I was working as an organizer, there were some city leaders, and I'm just gonna say who it was. It was the mayor, and it was the director of East Side Health District. And we had created these Zoom calls where we were discussing COVID and getting information for citizens. And we had state leaders, federal leaders, city leadership on the call so that we can get information and pass it out to the citizens about what we were going to do during COVID. Well, the mayor had just come back from getting over COVID, and I asked him, well, is this going to change how things are done at City Hall? Are we going to have to wear masks now? And he said, yes. And I said, well, are we going to supply masks for the citizens? He said, no. Why would I do that? And I was just taken aback, really, because I thought that was a lowball, easy question. It never occurred to me that he would say no. And then, because he said, they'll just start coming down here to get masks.
What was wrong with that?
What was wrong? And so then Miss Patton Whiteside said, yeah, because they come over here to the health district. and get 4 and 5 of them at a time. And they were having, we always talk about, while we can say some things to each other, you don't say this stuff in front of company. We had all sorts of people on the call, folks from St. Clair County, folks from the state, and this is how they were talking about us. And I was just livid. I thought, well, no wonder nobody cares about us, because the people who should care about us don't even think we're worth a mask in the middle of a deadly pandemic. So I began to pull my team together then, because I said, no, I will not sit by and allow a conversation like that to happen again. Not if I can do something about it.
So, Marie, I know you have been a long time. I used to see you down at City Hall all the time. When I used to do the city council meeting. And I see you have a 90-day plan.
Yes.
Would you mind discussing that?
So there are just some things, as we were canvassing the area and talking to the citizens, one of the main things that came up was about how we look. This city does not reflect the beautiful people that live here. And so the first thing we're going to do, first 30 days, we're going to implement a plan where we're going to begin to clean up. And you think, well, okay, yeah, hasn't been done before. It makes you, and it begs the question, why not? So that's part of the beginning. The first 30 days, we're going to begin to clean up. We're going to do an audit of every department, of every position. We're going to put a couple of interim positions in place, like city manager, so that we can keep the day-to-day operations of the thing going while we continue to move forward with our plans. Our 90-day plan, by the time we get to 90 days, we're going to begin implementing Lorenzo's vision of downtown. The plans have already drawn out. We're going to begin with working and refurbishing the Majestic Hotel so that we can have our Fox Theater on this side of the water.
Because, that building, the Majestic building, it's still a very good building.
Yeah, the bones of it are still good. Yeah.
And since you mentioned that, I'd like to know what is your thoughts on the Broadview Hotel, that $43 million project?
47 million.
47 million. I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
My thoughts are, how many groundbreakers we gonna have there? And the buildings still look the same. They've been doing this for it's got graffiti on it.
So it's certainly at one time.
Huh?
Were they working on it at one time?
I believe there was someone who was supposed to be working on it, and they ended up going to federal prison because they didn't do the work they said they did.
Oh yeah. Let me say this before we go any further. I'm not. If people know, I'm not endorsing anymore. I know people think all candidates had the opportunity to come on and see their champions, but you are the ones who came. Yes. All the others had the chance. They know about City of Champions. Everyone watched sports. I do sports. They know about it. They could have came, but you are the ones who came, and I have to go with who came. So I just want to get that
Dance
out.
with the girl that brung you.
Yeah, that's right.
So, just let me say this. East St. Louis, we have an opportunity here to make history. We have an opportunity to turn this thing around and call attention to ourselves so that the county and the state and the federal people will begin to pay attention to us. Because we're not begging and bowing and scraping, trying to get at somebody else's table. We have our own table. And people are going to they're going to want to sit with us.
Absolutely.
Because we're going to be on the forefront of showing others what it takes for a community to thrive. And a community thrives when its citizens have what they need. And that's what we're going to do. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, from now on, every decision we make is going to be based on what is best for the citizens of this city.
Another question I have is, you know, we have a lot of people leaving the city. Do you have any thoughts along? I'm trying to get at least some of the middle class back. We need some middle class
Oh,
people
sure.
here.
So we need some. We need good streets. We need sewers so your house doesn't flood. You know, we need a good looking place so people will be proud to live here. And so I promise you that when we begin to do those things and they see that we are serious about this, that people will begin to come back. And folks are already calling me saying we want to come back. You know, and I used to tell them all the time, even before hey, somebody's got to make the sacrifice. I don't care how bad we look. Come on back here. You built your house in Fairview. You can build you one here. Pick a lot. We got plenty.
Well, tell me, would you be willing to maybe if a person want to build here, maybe they can get a. Well, I know the county would do the taxes, but
Yeah,
if
sure.
they would maybe some of that spread land that people we have, let them take
Right.
the land if they're willing to build.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So we want to make it comfortable and easy for people to come back here because that is what's going to help move this city forward. You know, to have more, our population has just been declining for the last 50 years. So we need to start going the other way and begin to bring more people back here. And there are lots of folks who moved to Belleville and Shiloh and other places that would love to come back here because they know they are wanted here. We need them here.
It's not like they really wanted to leave the city because
Right.
I know if you go to East Side games, most of the fans there don't even live
Right.
in St. Louis.
Exactly. Exactly. So we want to give them a chance to come back and be part of this movement. Team Franklin and reclaiming our 89 blocks is a movement, and we need everybody.
So we also have um, two city council members. We're going to come back to you. We're not done with you yet. I'm going to let Paris go first. Paris, tell me what made you decide to run for city council?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us. I'm a lifelong resident of East St. Louis. I was born and raised. My family started off in the South End, and then we moved to Edgemont. That's where I reside to this day. I love the city because the city helped make me who I am. I'm a first generation college graduate. I earned my MBA, my MAT, and I'm continuing education. I feel like that's one of the things that I bring to City Hall and that I will bring to City Hall. As far as I've seen East St. Louis decline over the course of my 29 years here. It looks the same way now as it did 29 years ago. And there isn't any signs of it changing unless the leadership changes. And so that's why we're here. And when Marie had, we had a conversation when I first met her, and it was just, I felt the spirit in it. I felt her passion for the city. And that was my whole reason for even getting into politics because this was really not in the cards for me. But the city needs our leadership. It needs our resources. It needs our talents. It needs everything that we've worked hard to get. And I feel like I want to bring that to the city. I want to give that to the people who live here.
That's a good vision. And we also have Lorenzo Savage, who's also candidate for city council. Now, I know your credentials. I know you well. Matter of fact, you did my very first show. You were my very first guest.
That's right. That's right. We were way a few years ago, right?
Yeah. So tell me why you decided to run for city council.
Larry, thank you for having us on City of Champions TV. This is the place to be. If you about the city of East St. Louis, you need to be subscribed to City of Champions TV, and we support you wholly. And the reason I felt like I needed to run, Larry, because we've been doing. Marie and I have been working together over the last 10 years. My wife and I moved. My late wife Charmaine Savage, we moved back to East St. Louis in 2014 with the goal of lifting the pride of the people in East St. Louis.
And you did well with the
You know,
magazine.
yeah, sir. And you know, the thing is, you got a lot of people always saying they proud to be from East St. Louis, but I want you to be proud to be in East St. Louis.
Yeah.
And you know, my wife coined the term, and I always say, you know, we want our young people to learn, earn, return. You know, you can go live in Chicago for a few years, get that experience, like a lot of us had to do, because
Yeah.
we were locked out of the political.
Yeah, I lived
You
in
know.
Chicago 2 years. And I lived in, I can't remember how many years I lived in Los Angeles. I said so long.
Yeah,
Most
we
of my
lived
life.
in.
But what happened is, even when I moved to Chicago, Los Angeles, I ran into people from East St. Louis.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
I was getting off a bus one day, and I saw a girl I grew up with.
You're
in
always
in
running
Los
to
Angeles.
somebody. You say, look.
And I was now talking to a guy one day. Come to find out, he used to be a teacher at Lincoln High School
Wow.
out in
Yeah.
Los Angeles. There was a lot of people out there. From
That's
St.
why
Louis.
we started the magazine. You know, it was a vision of my wife. You know, we were saying, what can we do to not change the narrative, but correct the narrative of
Yes.
what East St. Louis is. And you asked about the Broadview Hotel, you know, and I've worked in the past trying to bring development to that building, and you know, $47 million is a lot of money, you know, for one project that is highly dependent on low income tax credit.
I think men saying what happened is these buildings when they become vacant, they allow them to get so dilapidated before they decide to do anything about it.
Well, the buildings are in great shape though. I can tell you, you know,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Broadview was built with, you know, reinforced concrete and rebar back when they were doing all wood joists and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it was a very expensive building when it was built. But I think that, you know, I believe they're rushing a little bit there, but we'll see what happens with the project. I felt like we can take that money and leverage, you know, and do more downtown than just a one off, you know.
Now, what about the Union Bank building? I remember about 15 years ago, there was a guy, I think Winston McIntyre, he wanted to buy the building. He had a group of people together wanted to pay $250,000. They wouldn't sell it to him.
Well, you know, that's the problem, right? You have people come to the city trying to, you know, provide development ideas and opportunities for the city, and it just goes into a black hole. You know, I have to tell you, you know, there's a plan that was done. It's called the East St. Louis Choice Neighborhood Plan. When I was on the Housing Authority board, I was a part of creating that plan that's trying to bring 500 new housing units to our central business district downtown. And the fact of the matter is that, you know, a lot of people are just dropping the ball because our leadership has no vision. You know, I mean, our downtown looks like a war zone. You know, I mean, there's no excuse for that. That's your front porch. Everybody drives through our city every day, and you tell them we can't have a Starbucks there or something like that. And you know that the Mid America Medical District, it was a plan that was done, and it was outlined for downtown East St. Louis. Listen to me, people. It was outlined for
Yes.
downtown East St. Louis. The laws were passed. The money was earmarked, and then they expanded the area.
Right.
Now,
Right
now
out
when
here.
we talk about expanding the area, the mayor at the time had to sign off on it. The city council had to sign off
Mhm.
on it, and the Governor Quinn at the time asked the mayor to sign off on it. And my problem is they didn't get anything in return for it, Larry. Right now, all that development that's up on Greenmount Road in O'Fallon, Illinois, that's supposed to be in East St. Louis. Because that's the Mid American. And so what we're saying, our team is saying we're still a part of the Mid American Medical
Right.
District.
Right.
And we're going to demand that our downtown get all that development that they're doing up there, create training programs for our professionals here to create opportunities in our city. So we don't have to go all the way up there to eat.
Did you know that the Gateway racetrack was supposed to be in East St. Louis?
We could go back. You know, there's so
Right.
many different projects and things where people have dropped the ball. And that's a
Mhm.
lack of leadership. Like Marie's
Exactly.
saying. You got people, like I said.
We're
if
not
we-
saying that all happened under the current leadership.
No. But
No.
all of them
Because the
were.
racetrack, that was
A while ago. Yeah, that was in Madison.
That was
Hey, when they built the arch, there were plans. The original plans for the arch grounds
Mhm.
included Missouri and the Illinois
Yeah.
side.
The design is
Yeah.
for both. Because both are part of the national park. The
Right.
Illinois side is a part of the national park. But we've never gotten any respect from St. Louis because, again, you know, our leaders don't fight for us.
Well, we got that little thing that you can walk up.
You talking about the
But see,
Malcolm Boys Memorial?
but see, but
Just
Mr.
that- that's all
he
we
did
got.
that.
He did that
He
with his
did
own
that
money.
with his
Yeah.
own money
Yeah.
under his own dime. He
Now,
did
yeah.
that in spite of the leadership.
The Geyser is a
Okay.
part of National Park.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, bro,
But
what we have to
we
do.
like to have something that can attract people like the arts does.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The Broadview, that could easily be a part of a bigger plan as a boutique hotel, where you would generate revenue, right? Not create more low income housing with the greatest views in the city.
Yeah, see.
You know,
see-
that's
see-
all I'm
see,
saying.
the
It could be
low-income
market rate. I
housing-
don't care.
Right.
The low income housing, I know low income people.
Half
they
the
have a
oil
place to
weathers,
stay.
Marie, tell them, we were over at the oil weathers. Half of them are empty right now, bro.
Yeah. And see,
But
see,
then
that's the
nobody's
thing.
talking about that.
We need
Right.
we need some middle class.
We
people to
need
come
mixed
back.
income. We need
Yeah,
all
mixed
housing.
income,
Yeah.
not just
We need
always
all
low
housing,
income.
yeah.
And
Because I want to be
because-
clear. I want to make sure that we take care of the people that are still
That's been
here.
here.
Absolutely.
And help
And-
them
and
move
been
up.
here.
others-
Help them
yeah,
move up.
and
And
if
right,
others wanna
because
come
you
back
can have
because-
programs that the federal government does where they can, instead of doing Section 8 for an apartment, they'll do a Section 8 voucher to help people with a mortgage.
Mhm.
So let's get some houses built so that people can buy houses.
And people are renting for $800, $900.
Right.
My mortgage is $756. Okay, that's including insurance and taxes.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Now that's $3,000 a year tax.
Yeah.
But we have a plan where we're talking about cutting the taxes in half. To instead of paying $3,000, I'll be paying $1,500. Everybody, not just certain people, get it.
Right.
Everybody gets the break.
Right.
I can remember when my mother was alive. There was a house on Martin Luther King that she wanted to buy, and the lady was a very nice house. The lady had passed away, and the family was feuding, so they wouldn't sell it. The house soon just got so dilapidated, it
Right.
was
Mm-hmm.
torn
That's the
down.
city, yeah.
And I've seen a lot of stuff. You have to let those people know that you're gonna have to take care of this property.
Well, that's
They
a
gonna
part of
buy
the
land.
that's the part of the
That's a part of
assessment
the
of the
plan.
plan.
Yes.
It's and
You
we
know.
can take land. You know, the city hasn't done it, and that has been a problem. With absentee ownership has been a big problem in
Right.
St. Louis.
And many of the factory buildings become vacant, I love church now. Don't get me wrong, but we can't let every big building that get that's vacant turn into a church because that takes it off the tax roll.
You're right.
Exactly.
You're right. You're right. And we do have a great program. We have great churches in this community that we can build on. A lot of them have their own community organization,
Right.
development organization.
Yeah.
And Sinai Village, I had to give them a shout out because they've done a great job over there.
Yeah.
And they've created new housing. Those people are going to own those houses. They had to rent them for a while. But every other church, we can
Right.
we can expand that.
They
we
have a
can
Macedonia
expand that.
Development
the
Corporation.
Macedonia,
Yeah.
They are
True
working
Light
with,
was trying one, like all the land here, Amazon, on
But
that
they
was
don't
True
get
Light.
no
but they
support.
They didn't
Right.
get support because they were, matter of fact, they wanted to buy this building. True Light did.
Mm.
When, Nicholson came out, but that's when it was up for auction before the new one
Right.
was announced.
Mhm.
But but the land wasn't really suitable for like building any structures on because it was like in flooding.
But I have a problem with this solar farm right here. I mean, you got prime land. If this is how we're gonna
Right. And that's what
treat
you
our
put on
prime
it.
land,
Mm-hmm.
what is our future gonna look like? It's gonna be just it's just gonna be a city of solar farms and
Right.
no
And
houses.
Wait a minute, solar farms that didn't do anything for the citizens.
Well,
So
not yet.
we want to
That's-
introduce the community benefits agreement.
Yeah,
And
CBA.
put
that's right.
that policy into law so that any development that comes here, that we have given them the expectation that the community needs to benefit from this somehow.
Right, job
We
training.
put those solar farms here and nothing happened, but our electric bill went up.
Right.
It went up.
Yeah.
And then how is it going to benefit us? That's what when day one. We're going to have to know about that because they're planning on putting another 8 acres over in Lansdowne on land that is residential land. I have a problem with that.
See, another solar
I
farm-
voted against that.
see,
My other planning commission
See,
people.
what
Mhm.
happens is a lot of times they come here and they these different organizations and companies, they think we're stupid.
Well, they're
Mhm.
using us as just a tool. But you can look right over there. There's a hill that used to be Jackie Robinson, Corey Lee Fields, and all that.
Mhm.
I don't know how many acres over there. It could be. It's high land, the sun. You know, it's
Right, so
They're
go
talking
over
about-
there,
they're
you
talking
know,
about
because
doing
well,
some
see, you
cannabis
got to
farming
start
over there.
off.
Oh, see, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Now,
You gotta start off having a vision for the city and
Right.
not just willy nilly let folks
One-off
put wherever
projects,
they
yeah.
want to put stuff.
Doing
That's
whatever.
right.
You know, without
and
know,
the citizens'
see,
input.
and the-
right.
without
I
the
was
citizens'
at
input.
New Life Church, and they was having had some people there from Ameren. They was talking about building electric charging stations, and when I said, no, you're not being honest with the people.
Who's gonna afford those cars?
See, because
Mhm.
how many people in East St. Louis has an electric car?
Right.
That's
right.
not enough clientele here for you
Right.
for here. To be honest with the people, don't tell them things just to make them feel good. You're not gonna do
And
it.
that you're not gonna do.
It takes what about $100,000 to build one station.
Right.
So
But on the
why?
other hand, you can be involved. We know that the state is moving toward clean energy. So I worked with the group that got the Clean Equity Jobs Act passed. That's going to
Yeah.
put a job hub here in East St. Louis. That's going to train people on clean energy jobs and train them on being entrepreneurs with clean energy businesses. And the money is being set aside for us for East St. Louis. We've got to put an energy policy in place in order to tap into that and make sure we get that money.
Yeah, like 21 million or something a
Well,
year.
Yeah.
I tried to green rent, but back when Obama was president, he was putting out a lot for green rents, and someone wrote the grant and kept it for themselves.
You know, and as far as electric cars are concerned, yeah, you know, because they're new. You know how it is. Anything when it's new, it's a little more expensive. But in a few years,
Yeah,
when
it
you know,
comes down.
when like I said, it's going to come down. We're going to have to move to clean energy in order to preserve the planet that we live on.
Yeah.
And so people are going. So you got to be forward thinking.
We will
You got to
be
be.
21st century.
Yes,
city.
we got to be
Absolutely.
knowing what's coming. You know,
Absolutely.
we're gonna make plans that's gonna benefit people for decades,
Yeah.
centuries
Right.
to
That's
come.
how you do plans.
That's how
Yeah,
you do plans.
because these other people, they have like 20-year plans in place.
You
We
have
think-
to in
we
order to
thinking
get
about
funding.
tomorrow.
You have to in order to get funding,
Yeah.
the proper funding.
Yeah.
And we have done plans for downtown. You know, I've worked over the years, Larry, trying to bring
Yeah, I
development to
know.
the city. And we have a plan for downtown and our riverfront.
Yeah.
We have over 400 acres of prime riverfront north of the Casino Queen. That's just ripe for development. They're talking about putting 1.2 billion over on the South St. Louis riverfront. I'm gonna be like, we're gonna be like, let's bring it over here.
Let's bring it
Right.
over
We'll-
here.
You can get it done quick over here than over there.
Mhm,
Yeah.
absolutely,
We got to work
absolutely.
with the developers in St. Louis, and open our doors. I mean, but like Mickey said, Marie said, the community benefits agreement has to be a part of the community
Mhm.
development corporation, where the people are on the committee.
Yes.
The people are a part of the decisions, the job training, right? If we're going to be building our downtown up, we have several programs that are training young people right now that we can tap into, and we're going to do that. Yeah.
Yes. And so we
And
just,
perhaps, yeah,
you know, we just want to do better and be better. We have the potential to be what somebody called it. We're gonna be Wakanda. We're gonna be
Wakanda.
East Wakanda.
You're right,
That's
East
right.
Wakanda.
Atlanta
You
of the
know,
North.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right,
You know,
right.
and we can do that.
A
You know,
thriving
we
black
have
city.
everything we need right here. We have the people we need. It's just amazing to me, the people from East St. Louis. We're magic, man. I'm telling you. I went to meet the East St. Louis Motorcycle Club the other day. And while I was there, I met one man that's got a PhD in IT and he teaches over at UMSL. Another guy that works at Boeing that works in aviation. Just enough, you know, in those few people I met there at the motorcycle club.
diaspora.
Even the children,
Yes.
because I noticed East St. Louis, they get more scholarships over at East Side than all these other schools combined. That's why a lot of them want to come over here and play sports, because you don't have to be a top name player to get a scholarship at other schools. I know we see that.
I have to be honest.
But we
I-
get academic
yeah,
ones
yeah.
too.
I
Oh,
have to,
sure,
and that's
get
why I want to say
academic ones
East
too.
St. Louis needs to no longer be a city known just for athletic
Yeah.
capability
And-
and producing
and-
athletes and being superstars.
and
We
you're
can
right.
we can be more than basketball players and football
And we
players.
are.
We
And
can
we
be
are,
doctors and
yes.
And you know
lawyers
what?
and business owners.
And because
So-
they're getting academic scholarships. Well, what they get $30 million in scholarships, something like that.
That's why with the magazine, like we do 4 issues, right? art and education, public servant, business professional, and then sport. Because we are champions in all fields of
All
endeavor.
of them.
It's right here at
All
this
right.
panel. You
Because
know?
even when
All
Eastside was winning all those championships in football, they were also winning state championships in chess, debate
Yes.
at the same time.
At the
but
same
you didn't
time.
hear about those.
Well, we have to bring the kids back too that are, we're losing.
Yeah.
Because we pick champions, but sometimes we pick winners too soon.
Mhm.
And Paris is this young man. That's what he works on. He has an
Yeah.
organization
Well, you know,
that helps young people.
there's
with financial
also
literacy.
there's also a program at Eastside where you the children can take college courses at Swift.
Yeah,
Mhm.
some of them have
I
done
had a
that.
couple of girls that played baseball for me.
Mhm.
One boy, they left Eastside with an associate's degree, and when they went to Carbondale and SIUE, they went in as a junior, not as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
See,
And
man,
so-
we don't
and
talk
we
about
need to-
that side
And
of
we
it.
need to talk about
One
it.
That's
thing
why
about
our
us
school
black
board
people,
Right.
today.
people like
Right.
to talk
Right.
about the worst of us all the time.
Mhm.
That's why we started the
just
magazine.
said,
Correct the narrative.
and I want to
Yes.
get
Mhm.
even started on crime. There's I read a report back. It was been about 9-10 years ago that said, they try to like we're all just criminals, but see,
What's that?
That's
Most likely
what-
to.
Yeah, that's most
you know what?
19 times more likely to be shot in East St. Louis.
you know what?
That's nonsense.
There's
and the
a-
hashtag.
See,
Right.
But many people don't realize in the black population in this country is congested. We're not spread out like everyone
That's
else.
because of
and the thing is,
segregation
but
and,
see,
and structural
but see,
racism.
when you're piled on top of each other, you're gonna keep
That's
hearing
it.
about crime.
Prisoners,
Why you hear
prisoners
white
kill
crime,
prisoners,
but
right?
look,
They don't,
yeah, and most
Chinese
of the,
people
but
kill
look,
Chinese
most
people.
of the
Right.
white crimes,
Right.
you gotta watch special TV programs to hear about. I remember a time when a black person committed crime, they say black male,
Right.
black female.
Right.
You knew it
They'll
wasn't
say
they weren't black,
right.
but they'll say a male or a female.
Mhm.
And
Or they
say-
won't show their picture.
Yeah, and I saw I read what they said that like 90% of the crime in the black community was committed by the same 2% over and over again.
Yes,
Yeah, people
absolutely.
hurt people, hurt
Yeah.
people.
And
That's what
the
we have to-
gangbangers,
Listen to me. Hurt people, hurt people.
Mhm.
And that's what we have a program. Paris is going to be over there with the young people, creating organizations, programs to capture them before they get in that
To
wrong
that point.
crowd. You know
To
what I'm
that
saying?
point.
We got to
Absolutely.
have young explorers that are going to be a part of the police in their own community. We need
Right.
to police our own community, the neighborhood association. Mickey said that's a
Mentorship.
big thing is getting all the
Mentorship.
neighborhoods back together. So we have a plan. Nobody
Right.
else has come out with a 30, 60, 90-day plan.
And
Larry.
and
We
while
have.
we have a plan, we are already doing the work.
Right.
I
as
worked on
citizens.
the panel that got the no cash bail law passed in
Yes.
Illinois, the Pretrial
Mhm.
Fairness Act.
Yeah,
I'm-
the women.
Right, I'm a former law enforcement officer who recognized the disparities that were happening in criminal justice because it was criminal and just us.
Mhm.
And so I have been working to change those the structural racism that happens in the criminal justice system. And so those are the things that we are already doing. So we're just going to bring that to the table.
Absolutely. And they say that if you don't plan, you plan to fail.
That's right.
Right. And so we're making sure that we're dotting all our I's and crossing our T's and making sure we're prepared coming in on day one when we get elected into office.
Yes.
And like Marie was saying, all of us are already doing the work. We're already serving in the community. We just want to do it on a much bigger level and for our people.
Yeah. And we
That's
need
why
people
we're
to
here.
get out and vote. We need
Yes.
10,000 voters to come out.
10,000 votes.
Take,
10,000.
like we were saying, take 5 with you. Okay,
Right.
Larry, take 5
Take
with you.
5
Take
with
5.
Take
When
5
you
with
don't
you.
vote, take
Don't go-
5.
Yeah.
don't go to people.
Yeah.
Because see, and I tell you, one thing about politics here in St. Louis, I want to say to the people: don't let precinct committeemen or anyone come to you with an absentee ballot and $20. Come on,
Mhm.
you were
No.
doing that 50 years ago.
We're
It's
through
time to
with that.
grow
We're
up.
through with that.
Yeah.
It's time to stop.
Yeah,
It's time to grow
that's
up.
done.
You were doing that 50 years ago. Cut it out.
And we still in the same. Well, no, we're in worse conditions.
Worse
Worst
condition.
condition.
When it
Yes.
started.
So what is that? What has that done for you?
Right.
Nothing.
You've done that time and time again. How is it working for you?
It has-
It's not.
This
It's
city is
hurting
in dire straits. And we cannot take another 4 years of this. We say all the time, the consequences of us losing are dire. People are going to continue to die if we don't get in there and move things forward to maintain this city and give our citizens the services that they deserve.
Yes. We lost our state rep seat. That seat had been in the seat of East St. Louis.
About 50 years, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, since Congress. I mean, geez, East St. Louis was the power base of Southern Illinois. And why did that happen? Because people have suppressed the vote for the last 12 elections.
And then make them change.
Keep the numbers down. But now we're paying for it, right?
Yeah.
So we're saying we get 10,000 votes out, people. The county's going to look at us. Governor Pritzker is going to look at us. Everybody's going to be like, okay, the citizens are serious. And they want change. They don't want the same old, with the worst results.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who are part of this problem, the power of the people is greater than the people in power.
Yes, I love that.
And we will not continue to live like this. And I am going to be and everything is going to be done open and above board and transparent.
Yes.
The first thing I'm going to do is take a hammer to that buzzer on the mayor's office door, because you buzz and they peek around the corner to see who it is first before they let you in. I'm going to take a hammer to that thing so that the citizens can come and talk to the mayor when they need to talk to the mayor, and they don't have to worry about if somebody going to buzz them in or not.
And accountability. And that's why our team, we have Kiana Grimmett, who's running for school board, and we also have Jennifer Chaik, who's running for school board. And we have to do both together. We have to have both.
Yeah, I was planning on them coming. I would love they could have came, because when I did want to school, the city also, what happened in the city also affect the school board.
Absolutely.
We can talk about that.
Leave, the schools get small, because 2 years ago, no, not 2 years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, they were gonna close down Lincoln because Lincoln was at 40% and Clark was at 50%. I was at the school board meeting.
You're talking the middle school.
Yeah, middle school. But what happened was they had, East St. Louis said, no, we don't want to close down Lincoln, but all the students couldn't fit in Lincoln because Clark is much bigger. And East St. Louis has to have a school called Lincoln here. And then what happened is they decided to put the 5th graders in middle school.
My granddaughter goes to Clark.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is that all of this is interconnected, right? So we talk about our ticket is really strong on cleaning up the city, right? Because that affects so many other things. Right. It affects property value. It affects businesses coming here. It affects funding. It affects so many different things. But even going beyond that, it affects education, because when your property value is low, that means the amount of funds going to your public school district is going to be lower. That's why schools, Fallon and schools in Belleville and schools in Fairview Heights get so many resources, because their property values are higher.
And they have a tax base.
Exactly.
See, also keep bringing in low income housing. That reduces your property value.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You don't have the income.
You can look at the grade. You can look at the grade on the state of Illinois schools and see what our grade is. We get $120 million a budget. $120 million.
Sad.
Only about $12 million of that come from our tax dollars.
Sad.
The rest come from federal and state funding. That's the opposite of what a good school district is.
Yeah.
Total opposite.
Right.
So we can cut that in half, Larry. We can cut that little $12 million in half and give the residents a break, give the business owners a break, and spur new growth. We're talking about grants for move back program, move back
Like I said,
for that down payment.
More than low income, because you take like San Francisco when Silicon Valley came out there, it increased the property value so much. You take an old house in East St. Louis that would be torn down, you'd have to pay $1 million for it.
Right, we can renovate. Yeah, we're
But
talking about.
But the thing is, we don't want a house to get you a house where people can't afford it. But we do want some good middle.
I want all.
And we've got room for everybody.
Yes.
For everyone.
12 square miles.
We know that low income, middle income, and all has to have a place to live.
And young professionals, brother, like this young man here.
Yeah, young professional.
Him and his wife moved back to the city.
Oh,
We
yeah?
stayed here.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Zach and Jennifer Tyke moved to East St. Louis.
Mhm.
The young people want this. They want to be in Wakanda. They want to
Yes.
be in a place.
Absolutely.
Our generation was too busy. You know, we had to go out and make our way somewhere else
Yeah.
because we weren't welcome, honestly, into the system here. But again, our school candidates have a great plan, talking about cutting taxes. You know, that's some Republican stuff. But
Right.
the bottom line, we do need to cut our real estate tax. You know, I'm paying over $3,000. You know,
Right. We pay our taxes are higher than people in Ladue, and you know that's
and their house and
retarded.
their value is twice
Right.
the value of ours.
Right.
Why is that? Because of the upside down. People need to go and look at the grade of the school district and say, hey, we need to raise the revenue. We need to bring businesses here,
Absolutely.
like Marie's saying,
Mhm.
to
Absolutely.
raise that number from 12 million to 50 million. It needs
Uh-huh.
to be so we're not so dependent on the state and federal government to feed our school system because
Absolutely.
it's not going to bring new people.
It's not going to
Mhm.
bring, and nobody wants to come to a city with a failing school district.
Right.
No, not
right.
at all.
You know,
At
and
all.
we need to understand why is that happening? Why is our school district failing? We know our children are brilliant. I tell
Right.
my
Imagine.
grandchildren all the
Yeah,
time.
that's not
I
the-
say you are a, and they say genius. 'Cause
Right.
that's what I've taught them.
Mhm.
And they are geniuses. We know our kids are geniuses. So why is our school district third from the bottom,
Right.
teachers don't live here no more.
and the teachers don't live
Yeah,
here?
because I know at some of the sporting games, you know,
They be on the other
teacher
side.
may be on the other side.
Right.
They go
Uh-huh.
to Belleville West.
Uh-huh.
They got why is East St. Louis teacher got a Belleville West shirt on?
Right.
Right.
When we were in school, not you parents, yeah. But when Marie and I were in school, the teachers, the coaches, the police, the fire, all these people lived in the
Lived
community,
here.
brother.
Yeah,
Now
well,
that's the thing. We've got to get all these retired police and fire.
Yeah.
We've got a pension issue that's coming up. Marie talked about this where we got to sit down with them and be like, hey, you got to be a part of the solution with us here. If you live up in Belleville, can we talk about moving back here and
Right.
we give you a
Well,
grant?
I know a lot of people may say, well, can I live where
That's
where I
right,
want
that's
to?
not-
But the thing is, we need
Right.
We
trouble.
need
Right.
you
We need
here.
you.
Especially
Yeah.
if you
I
suck
mean,
it off.
if we was
the
doing,
city,
You know,
yeah,
money off
exactly.
it.
if we was doing okay, that's different.
If
but
you getting
we
a
can't
check,
afford it.
right? If you getting a check that says the
Go
city
somewhere
of
else
East
and
St.
shit.
Louis
Yeah.
and you live somewhere else, shame on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just can't afford it. Some
We
things
can't
you
afford
have
for that
take
to
some
happen.
drastic
All of our
action.
Yeah.
money, like
Because you just
Lorenzo
can't
says,
afford that.
goes out of here
Right,
every
the
day.
money leaves every
Yeah.
day. You know, and I got to go out of my community to get something to eat. every day.
It's like we go
Right.
bankrupt every day.
That's right.
Mhm.
You just said it.
Yes.
And look, the population triples on Sunday and doubles every day.
Right.
And that goes for
Yeah.
people who claim to live here and don't live here.
Yeah.
Everybody on our ticket lives in East St.
That's
Louis.
right.
You can come by my house, my neighbor, Derek. I got some great neighbors. They see me out. Everybody see Marie.
That's
She's
right.
down the street from our store. Parents
Right.
live right up the street here.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer and they live in the city. And I would challenge everybody because if our leaders don't live here, and they are supposed to, if you're on the school board or if you work for the city as an elected official,
Yes.
you know, it would behoove us to have you in the community.
Right. Then you
I
would
mean,
know what's
Yeah,
happening.
you
Right.
would drive and
And then,
see it.
and,
Right,
and,
right.
and speaking of driving,
Yeah.
nobody on my ticket is going to drive a city car.
We don't
Yes,
need
sir.
them.
We don't need them.
We don't need
Don't
them.
you have a
Waste
car?
fraud, and
Yes,
abuse.
ma'am.
Don't you have a
Yes,
car?
ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
I have a car. You will
Mhm.
see that blue 2020 Ford Escape parked down there at City Hall. I don't need a car that the citizens got to put the gas in, that they got to pay the insurance on,
Right.
that they got to put the plates on,
Right.
and then you still get a car allowance.
Yeah, we gotta be
And
a
then
part
you
of the
had a
solution.
nerve not to live here. You got to come
Yeah.
down from 64 to come to work every day.
Wow. And-
No.
I mean, that's just the way. That's like you said. You can live anywhere you want to, but you're still a part of the problem. I tell my friends, they're teachers, and they get mad at me when I say that. But I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm
When you're in
just
a-
saying
when,
facts.
when you're in a dire situation,
You need to
you-
all
you
hands
listen,
on
you
deck.
can't-
All hands
All
on
That was the
deck.
first
Yeah.
issue of the
That's
magazine.
right. That's
Or
right.
all
All
hands
hands,
on
on deck.
so we just can't afford, like you said, we just can't afford people to keep taking money from here.
Yes. No.
Mhm.
No, we
Mm-mm,
can't.
we can't do
No.
it. We just can't do it. We're not going to allow it.
And you know how much?
And-
Yeah, the money would start turning over if we built another 500 housing units over the next 10 years. Let's just say that's something we want to do. That the money would start turning over. Then we could get grocery stores. Then we get Walmart because they like black middle class money. And the thing is, we had low income in East St. Louis all the time, but we had a mix. I had
Right.
friends who, you know,
Yeah,
their
yeah,
parents
it is,
did
yeah.
better, and I was able to aspire to have better, you know, because you had
Mhm.
a
So,
balance.
right, you
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
balance, you had a mixture,
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
in alignment.
Right,
You
right.
know, everything in
I
alignment.
remember
As a
in
community.
grade school, I had lived on Cleveland Avenue, and my brother's teacher, he hated that, but my brother's teacher lived
Right
next
down
door
the street.
to him.
Oh, next door.
Right.
But my calculus teacher, Mr. Coleman, my neighbor now too, would give me a ride home on 83rd when I ain't have bus fare sometimes. Benny Lewis' wife, Miss Lewis, God bless her, I love her. She would give me and my little sister and my brother a ride to Lucas because we was a part of the math
I
program.
remember my cousin.
And that's what community is about.
I had a cousin. He was about 15 years older than me. He said when they was kids, Ike and Tina Turner used to come on the bus. A lot of the kids, they gave them a ride to school.
Oh,
And, you know, they
really?
live out there, Virginia place.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
and so they would.
Father Joe Thomas. I mean, we had some great East St. Louis here, man. And we want them to come home. Like we talk about the
Yeah,
diaspora. Come
right.
home.
And
Come
so
on.
we, you know, while we were campaigning, we were also thinking about how do we do this? How do we work this best for the city? So we created a diaspora call. We had about 80 people on this Zoom call who love East St. Louis and just want to make sure that if they put some money and effort into helping it turn around, that things are done correctly. So we're going to continue those diaspora calls because those people want to help
Oh
this
yeah, because
thing.
like I said, when I do the sports, live streaming sports,
Mhm.
I have people from East St. Louis, from London,
Yeah.
over
Right.
in England, Australia. The
I
soldiers
had a
in
guy
the
call me
demilitarized
from
zone in South
Gambia,
Korea.
Africa.
Gambia.
I'm
awesome.
like, oh my God. So yes,
Yeah,
we can
people
do
wanna-
this.
They want to see
We
this.
can
yeah.
do this.
And
Oh, yeah.
Senator Dick Durbin. I
Absolutely.
mean, Senator Dick Durbin is from East St. Louis. A lot of people don't know that. He's the #2 guy in Congress.
in Congress
and
right
I think
now.
We
he's
need
like
to
number
connect.
5th in line for the president.
Yeah,
Yes,
we need to
yes.
use those, you know, not.
We need
shy
to
away
create
from it.
relationships
Right.
with those
Partnerships,
people,
yeah.
partnerships with them. And you know, and sometimes maybe do, you know, in the organizing world, we call it a little agitation.
Yeah, yes.
You
we're
know,
gonna do
you
some of
say
that
you're
too.
from here. What have you done for us
Right,
lately,
that's
Senator?
right.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
see, when-
so
see,
we
a lot
need to
of
be
times-
able to do that.
Because even when we have like town hall meetings, probably
Yeah.
80% of the people that don't even live in East St. Louis.
See that.
But they still care about East St.
They
Louis.
That's
still
right.
And
care.
I don't
And-
fault them for
Right,
it.
we're
No.
okay
They
with
still
that.
care about
Well,
East
that's
St.
what we
Louis.
want to tap into, brother. You're right. I mean, we
They-
plan on tapping into that.
Yeah, they care about East St. Louis. St. Clair County cares about East St. Louis. The state,
And I
the
like-
governor of Illinois
Mhm.
cares about East St.
Mhm.
Louis. This is a black community, and if we tap into our greatness, we can have great success in the state of
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah, we could be a
Right.
great tourist attraction. brother.
Absolutely.
We've got some of the greatest assets here. Miles Davis, House of Miles, Catherine Dunham Museum,
Absolutely.
the sacred sites, you know, with the 1917 race riot.
Mhm.
And our downtown, we could be like Bill Street. I'm drawing it up. I mean, you know, I
Right.
see the vision, and we want to share that vision with the community because the leadership we've had, and we haven't seen any vision.
I want to ask a question. A few years ago, they were, you know, when Cahokia took over Allerton and
Mhm.
Centerville, there was a plan where East St. Louis would make Brooklyn and Washington Park. Well, I don't know about Washington Park. Make Brooklyn,
mean,
Washington
Well, you know
Park
what?
You have
part
to
of
see.
East
I
St.
think
Louis.
that is
But
We need to
yeah,
get our house on
yeah,
it
get that
first.
land.
Right,
Yeah.
right. You know, but I think that
I'm
is
saying that
certainly
plan was on
something
the table at
that
one
you
time.
know should be looked at and considered.
Mhm.
If
But
we
then
can
it
make
just went away.
relationships with
That's
these
right.
other
Kept
towns.
on with their plan, but you know, ours just went away.
Now you see, Cahokia lost their Walmart though,
Yeah.
right? After merging and
Yeah.
becoming a bigger
Mhm.
city, and it's because of the complexion. It ain't because of
Exactly.
the, and that's what I said. We got to build our
It's
own
even the way
Walmart.
And guess what?
Yeah,
And
when it
we
was
and,
built-
and seeing around here, we call a thing a thing. If you're gonna leave here because we black, we tell it.
Yeah,
Right.
and the thing about it, we have to let Walmart know, you know, we're
Yeah.
going to Walmart or we're going to boycott
Oh, we're
the
gonna
ones you
yeah,
got.
Right.
Thank you.
And
You-
they actually
That
do it.
all that.
Look, and that's what I'm
we
saying
can't, and
about.
I'm not talking about, you know, we got to stop this 3-day boycott
You're right.
and then stop because I'll tell you what happened the way white folks boycott. You remember
When Dr. King boycott.
Right.
And now, but I'm gonna tell you, well, you're right. But I'm gonna tell you,
That's the
the
greatest
reason is
boycott.
like the reason I was saying because right here in February Heights during 9/11, there was a Hux store there, and um the gouged on the gas prices.
Gouging,
Mhm.
right,
Yeah,
right, right.
Mhm.
Like we get gouged in our city.
So what
Right,
happened?
Right.
every
But
day.
what
Right.
We
happened
can talk
was,
about that.
this what happened.
Right.
On this part, when they boycotted, wouldn't nobody go to that station. Until this day, every business that go and move into that cannot succeed. They have to move out.
We can do it,
But
yeah.
we need to do it too.
Especially like I said,
And
we're a
it's
part
gonna
of the
be
Mid American.
emotional boycott.
We're a
But
part
see-
of the Mid American Medical District.
Mhm.
We need to not go up to Green. I will pledge to not go up there and patronize
Right.
Greenmont Road and all those things up there. If we don't get our
And
own
we have,
development.
and
If
you
we
know
don't
what?
get
Yeah.
what
we have
we
to let that
owe,
be known. 'Cause I
Absolutely.
think many people don't even know about it.
Right.
That's why we're talking.
That's
we're
why
talking
we're
about
talking
every time
about
we
it.
can.
But we pledge as leadership that we will represent our folks
Yes.
and that we will go ask for, maybe nicely. I keep telling people I'm 60
Maybe.
years
Squeaky
old.
wheel gets
My,
off.
wait a minute, I'm 60 years old. My pretty please
That's
left somewhere around
right.
45.
Uh-huh.
So, we're coming for what's owed us.
That's right. It's ours.
That's right.
It's
That wouldn't
ours.
have
We're
happened up
coming
there
for what's
if
owed
they
us.
hadn't passed that legislation
Yep.
based on East St.
Based
Louis.
on East St. Louis.
So we're coming for it. You're right.
So in the world, they just use these St. Louis to get
All
it
the
To
back
get it.
time. All the time. But that's why we have new leadership, brother. We have a mayor who's gonna fight for the people. We have city council people who are gonna fight for the people because we're
Every
fighting for
day.
them now,
Every day.
and we're gonna continue in the future.
Mhm.
We're gonna build on this thing that we're doing, and we're not gonna allow the politics to continue in
Yes.
our city. It's
Mhm.
over. It's over.
Party's over. They've been partying on the backs of citizens for over 50 years. Party's over.
It's time for a
You know,
change.
I'm
Positive
really,
Yes.
I'm really disappointed the school board candidate didn't go. I really, that's
They
something I
got,
want
one
to
of
talk
them got
about.
kids, and
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
you know,
Right.
You know, I know
But
things
they've been out. They've been out in the street.
emergency thing,
Yeah,
Yes.
they've been out in the street.
And we-
And see what happens
Yeah.
is we got the superintendent. He I know
You made me blow my
he
breath.
sorta,
Because
he
if
sorta
a,
plays
if,
with these kids.
if you making 300,000, 250, 300,000,
I want you to live in the city.
I want you to live in the
Live
city,
here,
and I want to
and
have
we
a successful.
And we certainly should
district.
not be
They
third
can-
from the bottom.
Right,
They
right,
can live in
right.
the houses, the new
Right.
houses that's getting built. Yeah,
Mm.
we got some houses for
And
these
Right.
you
people.
know,
You
I
know.
wouldn't know you all think about this. I wouldn't I wouldn't mind if you had some like some estates with we had to put a fence around it, some really expensive homes if people want to live there.
I don't even think we have to put a fence around.
No,
it,
we
bro.
don't have to do
Because
that.
Nah.
We can all we all
I don't
have
have
lived
any.
here
I'm
together,
safe here in St.
prosperous.
Louis and St.
We've
Louis.
all lived here together
That's what I'm
poor,
saying,
and we
great,
can
because
all
we need that
be
Well, they're
poor
building
and
20 now.
prosperous and
Yeah,
live
yeah.
together again.
Yeah.
What mid-income houses.
And we'll see how that is,
Mhm.
right? But like you said, you can create. Each neighborhood can have its own character, and that's what we're talking about. We're gonna build up the neighborhoods, not build away from them, not be
Right.
building off from them. And
see,
our Metro Link, we got to build along the Metro Link.
Yeah.
We have one of the greatest assets in the
In the
area.
area,
It
right?
runs
Yeah,
right down
I'm
the
glad
spine
you
of our
mentioned
city.
that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people used to complain they got the tracks cutting up our assets.
That's the
What
purpose.
do you think? The tracks was already laid.
Yeah, they were
The
there.
tracks were already there, right?
Instead of complaining about the trains running out through the city, build around it, build shops.
And that's the
around it.
future. That ain't the future. It's now. Young
Yes.
people want to go. They want to catch the train downtown. Let's think 50 years from now, right? We got to think like that.
We gotta
Absolutely.
think like
We
that.
can't think like next year the Metro. I mean, I want to see our city be a 21st century city in the next 20, 25 years. We've done a plan, 2050 plan, 2040 plan of what it can look like. Our riverfront be like Branson. I'm tired of our people going down to Branson. That's like
Right.
going in the back door of the department store back in the 60s,
Right.
and having to buy the clothes and not be able to try them on. They want your money, but they don't want you living
Yeah,
there.
they don't want you there. That's right.
We can put it right on our riverfront. Great Wolf Lodge, all that stuff. Yeah.
We still like going in the back door. We got to go to other folks.
And we like spending money.
Right.
We spend money on. I remember when I moved from Chicago. I came back here, then went back out to LA, and they have a store up there called White Hen. It's like a 7-Eleven.
Mhm.
And I couldn't take the company. I wanted to come to East St. Louis, and they wouldn't do it.
No.
You know, they many of them don't want to build in the black area.
We have to. This is.
We have to make
We
them
have to
build.
make them. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
just said.
Oh yeah.
And she's gonna be very good at it. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna, like we said, if you use the Mid American Medical District to build over $200 million and growing of development in O'Fallon, we need 100 million. We need 50 million right now, and then get our downtown.
That's right.
You know, to where we can generate.
And we need
revenue.
access to future planes.
You're right, and we want our hospital. We have not given
right.
up
We
on
want
our
our hospital.
We shouldn't have to leave our community. We got over 20,000 people. We can do better.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm glad you mentioned that about the hospital. We have Touche, which is really a subpar
Yeah.
hospital. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me
Oh, you will.
Wednesday. I went to Touche. I was having a little chest pain. I knew it was gas. They misread it, and I'm sitting there waiting. You know, I didn't want to wait till the morning to get something for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was severe gas because I know my body. Next thing I know, they brought in a helicopter. We're gonna take you over to St. Louis.
I know you had said that.
Yes, I said, for what? They said you having a heart attack.
Oh my God.
I said,
So they
oh, heart
misdiagnosed it.
attack. Yeah. So they took me there. They did
Wow.
EKG.
But they need
They
Touche.
took
They
the
need
helicopter
Touche,
ride
but we
with me.
need
We
our
did.
We need our own.
We
That's
need our,
right.
but look, we have to have. It has to be a couple in the hospital though, because they took me over there. They did all type of tests. They did. I had to run the treadmill. They did another EKG. They put the dye through.
Right, right.
Make sure did
How much
everything.
that cost?
They say, I don't know.
Right.
I want to pay for medical. I want to pay for it. They
Right.
pay for it every week.
It's
But
I'm sorry.
They said,
It's just really interesting that you say that because what it is, I believe, is that we have a culture in our city where things like that are just the expectation is too low.
Low, right.
In East St.
Mhm.
Louis, the expectation is too low, and that's
We
why
deserve better.
we deserve better. We're going to get
Get
better
better.
through this team.
Yeah.
We're going to give the resources back. We're going to support our people because these are our people. Other folks don't do each other like how we do each other in cities and communities like this, and that's a shame.
And that's
But
come from generations of
Absolutely,
segregation.
absolutely,
A lot of
segregation,
brainwashing.
what you have to
racism.
realize is
You
that
know,
the same ideology that white people listen to, they said that they're superior. We were listening to the same thing
Oh,
to make us
exactly.
think the opposite of ourselves.
Well, we were
listening to
programmed,
it.
brother. I
You know what
mean,
I'm saying?
yeah,
That's
it
what I'm
wasn't,
saying.
you know, my grandfather, I mean, he was 70-something years old and in the 70s, and he was saying, yes, sir, to a teenager, you know, white kid.
But you,
And my sister was like, Papa, you ain't gotta do, forget him, you know, because she was from the 70s, you know, Black
Yeah.
Power. But that's how America has done us, and that's what I'm saying.
and
Reparations
that's why
are
when we go
needed.
to stores,
Reparations.
that's why when we go to stores
Reparations
and
are
buy
needed.
something, we thank the people who sold it to us instead of them.
Thanking
Right,
us
right,
for
right.
taking our money.
Yeah.
Right.
And St. Louis is giving reparations out.
Right.
Yeah.
And East St. Louis should too,
And
because
East St. Louis
if you
should
live
too.
in East St. Louis, you stayed here. Through, like Mickey said, you stayed here. We're gonna work with you. We're gonna help you build a house. We want people to move up, not just live in low income housing for 2-3 generations. That ain't no life for anybody. And what we're saying is, there's a new way. There's a better way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's funny you should talk about the mentality of people. You know, there are people who just think that it's just dirty down here because we just
Right.
trifling and dirty.
right?
And I had a huge argument with somebody because they said, "Oh, well, you know, while you're cleaning up, just make sure you teach people about littering. You know, do education. You know,
Like we
teach."
don't know.
Like, we don't already know that. And I'm like,
It's
"Are
people
you
coming
kidding
in our
me?"
community
You know
and
what?
littering.
I said,
You
you
know
know
what?
what? Look,
You know
don't tell me nothing else our citizens got to do.
Right.
They have survived these people running this city in the ground. We done picked enough cotton.
You know what?
Don't
though?
tell us nothing
They
else we
litter.
got to do.
Right.
They litter everywhere. The difference is it's cleaned up.
The
Yeah,
difference
maintain
is
it.
they
Marie
got
always-
a street
Marie
sweeper to
always
come and
says
clean
that.
it up.
You go to
Marie
the park.
always says that.
If you go out to
That's
the
the
park,
difference.
you go to the park.
Oh, we
That's
were
the
in
those
Lincoln
left-
Park, all the
see those
bottles and
benches.
shit.
That, remember when those benches used to be all thrown out? No one went and tore those benches up. They just deteriorated and weren't
Right,
Right,
and they
maintenance.
weren't
Maintenance.
maintained.
Same thing with the water pump station.
Right.
Stuff, you know.
So that's another thing that, you know, in this first 90 days, we're gonna fix the pumps that should that they done gotten money for over and over and over
We
again.
got that
and
COVID
never
money.
fixed
Yes,
it.
we can do
Common sense policies.
Yeah.
Common sense policies.
Yes.
So on tomorrow, we're gonna get ready to wrap up soon because we'll be all night.
Right.
Thank you. This is getting great.
Yeah.
Very interesting No, but look,
Especially
on
like,
tomorrow, tell the people, how they vote
oh,
for
you
you
call
and your team, and call,
Yes.
announce
So
your
look,
team and
everybody.
their oval, that you.
Mm.
Right.
Mhm.
So I don't remember the ovals. I think I'm number 2. Somebody find the ovals for me. We got it
I
on
want to
the
pull it
something.
up real quick.
Right. Please. But just look, everybody, don't believe the hype. I know it's been said that certain candidates have already won because they had the absentees on lock. That's not true. That's just a hype. That's just a con to keep you from voting. We need 10,000 people to vote tomorrow.
10,000.
10,000. So when
Wow.
you go to the polls, take 5 with you.
Take 5.
Take 5. So tomorrow, vote for Marie Franklin for mayor. That's Oval 2.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Savage for councilperson, Oval 9. Paris Grimmett for councilperson, Oval 10. Yeah. Kiana Grimmett for East St. Louis School District 189. She's Oval 16. And Jennifer Chike for the School District 189 is Oval 15. Those are the numbers. That is the dream team.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be the team that turns this city around.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because none of us are politicians. None of us are connected to the machine. The only people we'll be holding to is the citizens of East St. Louis.
That's
Right.
it. That's it.
Well, I want to thank the three of you for coming out. This is very interesting because we don't stop. We're going to be to midnight.
Right.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I
yes,
appreciate
so
y'all
much.
coming in. And I'll say again, to any other candidates, you could have came on also.
Mm.
I'm not discriminating,
It's the
but
City of Champions
like
TV.
right.
Should have been on here.
like you
Should have
said,
been on.
like
Should
they
have
said,
been.
you have to dance with
Absolutely.
who's here. So,
Mhm.
And then some should go to the forum. If you don't respect the people enough to come out
Right.
and stand in front of them and say what your plan is,
Right.
I had to. That's why we had to run.
Right. Because
Yeah.
it just
Lack of respect.
lack of respect.
Yep.
So Larry, let me tell you, thank you so much for having us.
No,
And once we get in office, we want to continue these conversations.
Yeah.
We want to continue these conversations so that people know
We'll
what's
tell you
happening.
Anytime you're ready.
Oh yeah, it will be every week, every month at least.
At
right?
least,
Right?
yeah, at least, so that people know what's happening. And
Yeah.
and we can create this
Transparency.
relationship and this transparency where they know what's going on. They have to wonder, okay, who got fired today and why? Who in charge
Right.
now?
Right.
Accountability.
Right,
Right.
accountability.
Thank
Right.
you, brother.
And this platform for you is a black-owned business, and we want to support
Yes.
Yes.
black-owned
Especially
I
in St.
business.
Louis.
appreciate that. I really
You
do.
say,
know,
and you've been standing up for us for a long
For a
time.
long time,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah, I want everybody to know that that's what we are definitely going to support all black-owned businesses once we get into office.
And all East
I-
St.
I'm
Louis
glad-
business.
I'm glad you said
All
that.
East St.
I'm
Louis
glad you
business.
Yeah.
said that
For
because
sure. For
You
sure.
know,
for sure.
years ago, I remember coming to a council meeting. It wasn't this administration; it was
Mhm.
a previous administration, and there was a lot of Arabs coming there
Mhm.
asking for money, and they were getting it.
And they were getting it.
At the end, there was a black guy came, and when he got done, one of the councilmen said, "Can't you all go somewhere else? Why everybody got to come here?" The one
Mhm.
black man at the end. And
Mhm.
that was quite a few years ago, but I still remember.
We
that.
need a moratorium on the liquor license too, and
Oh,
cut
yeah.
some out. Yeah.
Right, yes, you
can
know
believe
what?
we cut some
And
of
we're
it
not
out.
going to have that policy, that unwritten rule where you have these people who are not part of our community come in our community, because we know what's happening. We know why they letting them have these businesses here and not the black people, because they got that backdoor deal going on. Okay, we're not gonna have that anymore. Like I said, party's over, folks.
I complain about that too, because they don't live in the community. If you have a business here, and you're making and you sell everything, right? It's like a food desert in this city.
Right.
Mhm.
So we really need to watch out for
Yeah.
who we're buying from and really
Exactly.
be conscious
Absolutely.
of
So
how
let
we're
me-
being treated.
So, citizens, tomorrow at 7:00, we're going to have a watch party at Eastside Express,
Yes.
1950 State Street.
Come on out.
Come out, celebrate with us, watch God make a move.
All right, all right.
Okay, so we want to thank Marie Franklin, Lorenzo Savage, and Paris Grimmett for coming out. You're not in Kendrick Car agreement, are you?
Yes, let me just say, all
All
agreements,
them agreements
family.
related.
It's one family.
Oh, Car
If
Pam and all of
if
them.
you-
Yeah, I
if
knew
you-
how to do.
If you're agreement, you are of the same clan.
Yeah,
We're all one
yeah,
family.
because you don't hear many agreement is
That's
not
right.
a common name.
No.
Right.
A lot of
So,
them.
I want to
is,
thank
it
y'all
is.
for
Thank you, family.
I want to thank y'all for coming out and well, I gotta say like I used to say on No More Water Fire Next Time. Why? Cause no more water fire next time. You know how in the California wildfires it gets so out of control. They try putting it out with water. They just can't put it out. So what they do, they build a dam
Right,
between in the earth.
right.
And they set the trees on fire to go meet the
A
fire
firewall,
and
yeah.
fight fire
With
with
fire.
fire. A firewall.
Right.
That's why I call it no more water. Fire next time.
Fire.
'Cause if water don't work, we're gonna have to try to fire.
All right.
All
We
right.
coming in
Bring it.
hot.
We coming in
hot.
We coming in
All
hot.
right,
Thank you, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for tuning in.